Hey everyone, so we're gonna review these seasonal units, holiday units in particular. I didn't get to do my Bugsy video because I just got busy, but we're gonna do this one even though a lot of people will probably be skipping this one. It's a very interesting scout because of the fact that there's so many units. It's like 0.2% chance of you actually getting any particular unit, so unless obviously if you go to scout points you can pick one. So I'll probably give recommendations for who is like the best to pick, as well as like is this banner actually worth getting, because even though it's a 0.2% chance for each unit, it's still a lot of units. And I gotta say it's probably not worth it like at a glance, but there are definitely some units that are good from like my experience that I've used. And obviously Lily and Bugsy don't count yet. When they do count though, that'll make this scout a little bit more worth it, I think. So let's look at like the fodder basically. The ones that you kind of don't want is like Siebold, however you say it. Rising Tide is interesting, and I mean he's outdated. There's not much to say about this outdated unit. He's just at the point where you get him if you like him. So if you like Siebold, yes, go for it. You can definitely make Rising Tide and Critical Strike 3 work. Can you make it work with 299 special attack? I'm not too sure. But there are ways to make it work, so go for it if you like him. Second one is Erika. Erika, you kind of just get her for the X regional, like the healing. Raises the defense violates increase by 1. Damn. That's very dated. Yeah, I should just use her. The only real way that I could imagine using her is as with fodder, basically for Legendary Gauntlet. And obviously getting rid of status ailments to Healing Hands if you get her at 3 out of 5 is interesting, but obviously not worth getting. If you happen to get 3 out of 5 by some miracle when you're climbing the when you're trying to get scout points, then yes, that could be interesting, but yeah, no, apart from that, it's really just the healing with her, another dated unit. So who is probably like third quote-unquote worst? Probably Rosa. Rosa and Delibird is kind of aged poorly as well, but she could still be useful for Rising Tide units. So funnily enough, someone like Siebold that we used before, they actually, I believe they came out at the same time, so that would explain their synergy. But other units like Signasuit Hilda, linking out on other Rising Tide units. I know Skyla also has Rising Tide. Plenty of other units that the more stats you get, the more raise stats you have, the better. And her trainer move allows her to buff other attackers in just a bunch of random stats, so that could be useful, plus the X attack hole. But she is like an offensive support who doesn't really provide defensive support unless you're running like a perma-hail team, which it's kind of hard to do that. You would need like bead. I only mention that because I sometimes have done that. It's fun. But usually if you're not bead, but B, or B, however you say her name, if you're running her, you don't really need Rosa to begin with, but could be interesting, especially with Ice Shell. But apart from that, she's just an offensive unit that lacks a lot of the offensive support that most offensive supports already have. So if you get her, she's not like terrible, she's definitely usable, but still kind of a dated unit. And good speed buffs too though, because raises speed by 1, but then she gives move gauge acceleration too, although her Delibird's actual speed is kind of bad, so yeah, so let's see who's next. I would say let's quickly review Skyla too. I've already kind of messed around with her grid. The thing with Skyla is she's just kind of tedious, so you have to get Rising Tide activated. If you want an extra flinch, an extra 50% multiplier, you get Flinch Hitter 5, which is again kind of hard to time and it's not guaranteed. I got this Skyla. I didn't get her when she first came out, but I got her right before the anniversary came out where she ended up getting Tornadus, so I remember that being very unfortunate timings. I just powered her up to 3 out of 5. Then the new Skyla came out and I was like, well, shit, that was a waste of candies. And the other Skyla is way easier to use. And I bring that up because of that fact that this Skyla is basically just a harder version to use than the anniversary version. And no AoE, because anniversary Skyla has the Strike EX rule. I don't recommend this unit personally. And even using her like flying, Champion Stadium, flying, weak stages, even when I got her like 2 years ago, she was still kind of difficult to use even with the flying stages, against flying weak stages. So yeah, I don't recommend her, but you can make her work, especially like in Legendary Gauntlet. I still use her, especially against like Cobline and stuff. You can definitely make it work, but I don't recommend it. So, let's see, who else do we have here? Whitney. I remember being really excited when Whitney first came out, like a year or two ago. But the thing is, she is also kind of, I don't know how to say this, like kind of awkward, but she does definitely have damage. Why is she awkward though? She needs offensive support, obviously, because she only has match strength and sharp entry, so you have to waste like one roll for offensive support. And then you need, so you get terrain sync up, right? Like, I don't have it really set up right now, but the thing with her grid is like, it's kind of difficult to get everything that you need, so Flabbergast 4 is good for activating. Interference Sync 9. You just have to come prepared, basically. And AoE defense buffs, or special defense buffs, or speed. Speed defense buffs on electric terrain. I just realized that would be nice again. That would be nice with Signitude Thunderbolt Red. Interesting. Yeah, she just hard to set up, basically. Terrain sync. You have to have a terrain, so you can get it to work with like Palmer too, because her sync nuke is still normal. So theoretically, you could get like Palmer in there, normal zone, plus her, plus the offensive support that you need. And then with Flabbergast 4, she activates her Interference Sync 9 multiplier. If you do all of this, the nuke is actually like decent, especially for a normal type tech. So it works. I just find myself not using her super often, even though I have her at 3 out of 5, just because again of the fact that she can be kind of awkward to set up. No super effective damage. Obviously, as a seasonal, she's lacking an EX roll as well, so it's kind of hard to find a fit for her. Of course, as a tech, the best place that you can use her is Gauntlet, right? So use her in Gauntlet. It can definitely work. Should he pick her? Since I think starting with her, I'll start to get to like the more serious answers. I would say no, again, unless you're a Whitney fan, but I feel like there are other better options that I'm gonna get to at the moment. So I guess I'll do Leon next. I'm kind of putting off Nessa because I don't have Nessa, so I'm gonna have to quickly look at how she works, but let's get Leon. So Leon also is like a little dated. I feel like he was dated even when he came out, just because he has good damage, but the setup is kind of frustrating. Raises his trainer move only raises attack by 2, and then he has to raise his crit by 2 as well, so you definitely want like offensive support for him to quickly get those buffs in. Cold Snap, Mighty Command 9. Not bad. Victory Flex 2, that's there. I don't like that. So, it's a good unit. Like he's kind of like what I went through with Whitney. If you get the setup correctly, the damage is there for sure. It's just like the setup, right? And like Glacial Lance is obviously nice too. I definitely don't think that this is a bad unit to get. But it's like situational because yes, he's good, but we have other good ice types as well. Whoops. We have other ice types that are kind of easier to use, like the Irida. Obviously, there's red. I forgot he's like the big one. If you have red, you don't really need him at all. So that's what I mean. It's not that he's bad, Candace. It's just that we are slowly getting more and more competition with ice, so he doesn't really provide anything that the others don't already provide. It's just one of those situations, because even for physical strike, we have Candace. As you could argue, you could get him like for physical. I always try to get at least one physical and one special, really good attacker for both types, so if you only have red or only have Irida, and you don't have Candace or something like that, yeah, he could work, but I do think Candace is obviously a better version of him. Maybe not a better version, because they're not the same, but better when it comes to physical ice strike. And she also has the buddy move, which is very fun, but we're doing a video on Leon, and for Leon, I would say probably wouldn't pick him if you actually get the scout points, but if you end up picking him up on your way there, trying to get someone else, even at 1 out of 5, I could definitely see Glacial Lance being good sub-DPS damage, basically. So, moving on. Let me retype in Holy Day. Let's see who's next. Who am I gonna go with next? I will get to, let's just get Nessa out of the way. So I'm gonna have to quickly look through this unit, because I never got this unit, because I didn't really think it was super interesting at the time, and I don't think much has changed. Usually holiday units tend to age poorly. So her trainer move raises the user's attack by 2 ranks, then you get crit by 1. Like a lot of the older holiday units, you need some sort of support. During the Hellstorm, gets gradual healing, then there's Icicle Crash, which doesn't do a crazy amount of damage. And then Power Snow, which basically does nothing, and then Hail, right? And then Ice Face, we could all kind of know what that does. Interesting. Snow Shelter, and Hasty Hail 3. So, if this is like a modern Pokefair, a lot of these, like maybe Snow Shelter and Ice Face will be combined into one passive. It's kind of lame whenever they give something like, when they use Snow Shelter on one of her only 3 passes for her skills. Snow Shelter could definitely have been in like the Singred, but this is like a 2-year-old unit, so we're not going to complain about little things like that. Ramming speed for the DPS. Powers up the moves of the user with the Ice Face that are super effective. Okay, so it has to be super effective. You have to have Ice Face, and then you get the measly 30% multiplier. I mean, it definitely works for Ice Week stages, so don't get me wrong. And Nessa's definitely one of those characters that you get if you like Nessa, right? So the question is, if you like Nessa and you know you're gonna get her, are you gonna really be struggling with this unit? That's kind of the question that I'm trying to answer. I'm gonna immediately say no just by looking at Soften Up. I love Soften Up. I will definitely bring that up a lot, because I think that you shouldn't even need Soften Up. I feel like that the fact that we need Soften Up is a really big L, in my opinion. I don't like that they keep it. It should just be like a thing. Like, Sync move should instant crit if you have +3 crit no matter what, but I'll try not to complain about that right now. Invigorating Hell. So she can get 3 separate DPS multipliers, which is interesting and pretty nice, but Icicle Crash doesn't really deal a lot of damage, so... But with all 3 of these active, you could theoretically see decent DPS, I would imagine, but where is her Sync nuke? Where is it? I'm looking for it, I don't see it, which is kind of scary. What is she? Is she a tech? This attack's power increases during a hailstorm. Am I crazy, or does she not have a sync nuke? No sync nuke multiplier. She does get Super Preparation 9, which is kind of like a sync nuke multiplier, but I wouldn't say it's exactly like it. Huh. Fascinating. Fascinating. I can't say if her sync nuke is gonna be good then. I'd have to actually do the math. Because the most that you get is her innate multiplier. Plus Hail Super Preparation 9, which you can get from like other units like Red Lax and Holiday Jasmine, which we haven't gone to yet. So very interesting. I would say it's not worth it just because of that. Unless I'm missing something in the kit. The damage does look like it's kind of lacking a little bit. But again, this is like a Nessa is one of those characters that people are gonna get her if you like her, and if you do, I think it can definitely work, but you might need to bring like someone else as well, like an additional attacker, like Leon, Candace, Red, Hirda, for like additional support maybe. Don't recommend it unless you like Nessa. So let's keep going. We're almost done, we got 3 more. So who am I gonna go with next? I do really like these 2 units, Jasmine and what's this guy's name? Sycamore. So I'll probably save them. I'm kind of subconsciously trying to go from who is the least worth it to who's the most worth it. So right now we'll go with Viola, who is kind of niche. You get her if you need like a bug nuke, right? Basically that's like kind of why you get her, or if you need bug zone. Obviously we just got a slightly better bug zone unit in my opinion in Bugsy, because Bugsy is a support, and support zone units are pretty nice honestly. So if you're looking for a bug zone unit, I recommend Bugsy guys, because it's also easier to get him, because right now his rates are pretty high, 2%, but she can attack, she can debuff a lot of stats at once by only 1 rank, which is unfortunate, but it's enough to activate her sync nuke multiplier, which is power play up here. Pretty simple. She can, I believe, paralyze, right? The user's already paralyzed, but only once, so it doesn't work the way that it works. So it doesn't work against like Thunderous, Legendary Gauntlet. Unless doesn't she have a passive actually that like paralyzes best move on opponent, leaves it already paralyzed and uses sync move. That's fascinating. Cause, oh, interesting. She doesn't have a innate sync nuke multiplier. It's just power play. And she paralyzes, but I don't think she actually gets any sort of, oh yes, no, Static Shock right here, yeah. So you do get that additional sync nuke with the paralysis, right? But then she has this passive that paralyzes after the fact. And then she has her buddy move, which also paralyzes when the field of play zone turns into bug zone, which you use bug zone right before the sync, right? So then at that point, you probably already want the opponent to be paralyzed, and you already want the enemy to be debuffed. So you're gonna use Bug Wish and the buddy move before you use the sync move regardless. So I don't really know why this is there. That's kind of interesting. Definitely a head scratcher. Stop hitting yourself. I guess you can confuse. I have forgotten about that. I don't know where she can confuse. And she can lower the following target stats by 2 ranks at random when the user's attack move is successful against targets that are affected by a status condition. So even just having her to debuff a lot of stats can definitely be useful, even at 1 out of 5. So that is something that I will say. If you manage to pick her up, any unit that uses power play, you could definitely bring her as like a budget Signa Suit, where is it? Champion Leaf? Anniversary Champion Leaf. For sure. This is a unit like at 1 out of 5, if you get her, you can find some use for her. for sure, just because of that, and the fact that she can paralyze, bring Bug Wish, so she can be useful even without actually using her as a powerful sync nuker at 3 out of 5. But if you were gonna sync nuke with her, obviously, you want to get power play. One of these two, whichever one you want more. I think stopping yourself is a little more useful. And then of course you want static shock. Paralysis synergy is interesting on Struggle Bug. I don't really know. That's probably not going to be much. So you can get like healthy healing. This alone is good. Like this alone deals a lot of damage. Plus, she got an EX roll. Wow, I just realized... I'm not going to talk about tech because I think I'm just being stupid. Well, I'll bring it up now because then it's going to be weird. But I was thinking that it's weird that a seasonal unit has an EX roll. But it's because EX rolls were already a thing, I believe, when she came out. So it's kind of making me realize that EX rolls are older than I think they are. Because it feels like EX rolls just came out like only a few years ago. I mean, only a few months ago for me, but clearly that is not the case. So the fact that she is a field tech also makes her easy to use, because field units that also have like 2 additional zones or some sort of terrain or weather is like super nice, because you don't even have to use Bug Wish. You just sync on the first sync, obviously, and that makes them a lot easier to use. So yeah, this is a pretty nice unit. No DPS, but if you just bring like another bug DPS, can make it work. But yeah, we're gonna move on from there because I think this is a unit that you either need it or you don't, and if you pick it up along the way, you'll find use for it. So the last two, Jasmine and Sycamore. I don't really know which one is better. They're both really nice. I think that it's completely up to you if you're really on the fence about it and you're trying to decide between like Jasmine, Sycamore. Specifically, really these two, you can't really go wrong with either one. I feel like they're both good, but Jasmine, we'll talk about Jasmine when we get there, but Sycamore lowers grass type rebuff by 1, and then I believe he has AoE Razor Leaf, so he can apply grass type rebuff to all enemies, which can... There have been and there are fights where you want grass type rebuff, specifically because of Adamant. But obviously he can do it too, so even just having him at 1 out of 5 for that can be useful. And then of course, just like it adds more damage immediately to your grass type units, so has the chance of restoring the user's HP when its attack move is successful. It's nice. Yeah. Of course, makes him more bulky, reduces damage. All allied Syncpers take when attacked by grass type moves. Niche, but it could definitely work with like Tapu Bulu and stuff. So, and then he has, I just remember him having a lot of utility, like a lot of things that he can do. He can be max crit, potion healing, which a lot of times he won't even have to use on himself because of his passive. Let's have a battle. Raises defense and speed by 2, so yeah, he's nice. I do wish he was a little faster. That kind of negates the +2. It doesn't negate it, but with the 2 gauge spam move, you might occasionally deal with some gauge issues with him, but there's not much to say. I mean, but not in a bad way, just in a good way. Like, oh, I will say he does have the EX roll and Jasmine doesn't, so... Oh, it is strike though. So it's only really useful if you're trying to get like more points in Battle Rally. But if you are gonna do that, then he would be slightly more worth it. But trader move, crit defense 9. What does that mean? That probably applies critical hit. Yeah, defense. Okay. Raises the user's grass type rebuff. Tri-H tank, more bulk. Yeah, everything in his grid kind of just like amplifies things, so it makes his healing better, makes his move gauge support better with Revenge Boost 9, which is all very useful. Tri-Edge Take 9. You don't need 3 out of 5, but if you got it, it basically just makes what he does better and like easier to use. So if you're a Sycamore fan, I do recommend it. It's good. Like I definitely think you'd get use from him. Not just at 1 out of 5, but also if you promote him to 3 out of 5. And last but not least, Jasmine. Jasmine, so no EX roll. Whether or not he's better than Sycamore, I can't say. It's like pretty roughly even because I did get her, I do have her, and I find myself not using her a crazy amount now. But when I did have her, when I did get her at first, she was very nice, and she still is. It's just that there's more super effective up units now. She's lacking an EX roll, so if they don't have EX rolls, I tend not to use them, like in Battle Rally. But yeah, I think honestly the thing that really makes her shine is the fact that she has super effective up next. She can paralyze at 2 out of 5, 3 out of 5. She does good defense buffs and also crit buffs. Very bulky too. I do think she's a great unit now that I'm looking at her. So when I say that I don't use her a lot, it's not that she's bad. I think for me it's just because I already have so many units that there's so many supports that there's a lot of competition already. But as a beginner, as like someone that might not have a lot of support units, I think she's fantastic. Like even just glancing at, I think what it is she can just do more than Sycamore, because Sycamore is like, again, whoa, does she really do more? I don't know, because Sycamore can also apply direct hit, dire hit all plus. I think she does do a little bit more though, to be honest. I'm trying, there's no bias because I like Sycamore too, but I'm trying to be like objective here. But I think even, I mean, I'm completely ignoring super effective up, which alone I think is like what makes her slightly more worth it. It's just, if you're doing super effective stages, it just immediately gives anyone that 50% multiplier, which is great. So, and then she has Mega Ampharos. Come on guys, let's not pretend that Mega Ampharos is not cooler than Go-Go or whatever is the I'm kidding. If you like Go-Go, don't hate me guys, but I just really like Ampharos. Mega Ampharos is a Chad. And applies the gradual healing. What changes? Yeah, applies the gradual healing effect as well if you Mega. She's got Adrenaline 1. She just has a lot going for her that I think if you were a beginner, you could definitely, and not just a beginner, I think anyone, like you can use her in a lot of different things very well. And that's what makes her, in my opinion, probably the best pick. But again, you can't really go wrong with Sycamore either. Or any, like, Viola, Leon. And like maybe Whitney if you need like a damage dealer of that type. Definitely can't go wrong. I did kind of brush past the fact that Whitney can debuff defense or speed or special defense. I just didn't really mention it because it does feel kind of like slow. It's a little slow, but I keep saying it works, but it does work. I just feel like I don't use her for that reason. I'd use her if I want to sneak nuke with her. And yeah, I'm gonna basically stop there because honestly, I don't really think a lot of people are gonna watch this video because it's late. So if you're one of the like 40 people right now that is currently watching my videos and you watch to the end, thank you. I hope you enjoyed the video. And I understand that I'm probably not perfect right now at analyzing characters, so I apologize if I maybe skim through some things about a character or you know, maybe underestimate a character or two. I'm kind of just trying to just really highlight the best parts of a unit or why you would specifically want this unit or that unit. But of course I brushed over maybe a few things, but yeah, that's basically those are my thoughts. I still don't really think that this scout is worth it. I feel like with holiday units, you get them if you really like that character. So if you're a fan of Jasmine, yes, you get Jasmine. If you're a fan of this Pokémon, Iskew or whatever it's called, yeah, Iskew, you get Iskew, right? So it's up to you guys, but I do kind of recommend saving just because of the fact that the rates are like really low. So if you're specifically looking for one unit, like if you're trying to get Jasmine, you're probably going to go to scout points trying to get her, but if you like Jasmine enough, I'd say go for it. If you like Sycamore enough, go for it. We all have those characters that we would easily go scout points for, but if you're not one of those people and you're just trying to pull for like the best bang for your buck, I wouldn't say this scout is worth it. But yeah, anyways, thanks everyone. I don't know if I'm gonna be posting anytime soon after this, so I hope everyone has a good holiday break. The 40 people that are watching my videos, and yeah, maybe I'll see you guys next month or something. We'll see. Later.